Great to meet you.
You too. Thanks for the call.
Absolutely. Where are you located?
New York.
All right. We're at New York.
Oh, we are in upstate, so near Buffalo.
Okay, I gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the country here in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, it's great to meet you. And I want to start our conversation off with what we all lived through for the last 3 years. Getting through COVID. How did you get through that time period and how did it change you?
Wow. That is a big question. So I was actually working in a hospital as a social worker during COVID. So at the beginning of COVID, not a lot changed for me because I was a mandated an essential staff to go in and continue to work. And as the months went on, it I think the fear got more the fear got bigger in people, and eventually, after a few months of operating as normal, I came to work at home, and it was a very very strange dynamic, and we actually my husband actually went through a major medical trauma during COVID, which kind of impacted me and my career and the trajectory of my career. So I started working at home, he got sick, and that's kind of when I reevaluated everything. I think both of those things started happening at the same time, and I reevaluated like what's important to me, what do I want for the rest of my future, and how do I get that? And so that kind of changed the trajectory for me. And not sure if it's COVID, if it was his medical issues, or a combination of both that kind of brought me to where I am today, which is out of the hospital, working from home, and continuing to operate a day to day that is fulfilling to me.
So, with that in mind, what exactly let's get to the heart of what exactly you do on a daily basis. I'm going to
Yeah,
put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day.
yeah.
And one of the kids looks up and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I get to help people every single day, and I get to help people to live a life that they want to live and that makes them happy.
So, you probably had a pretty big uptick since COVID, I would
Yeah,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What did you want to grow up and become?
A marine biologist.
Okay. So, let's get to the root of how this happened. Tell me where you were born and raised and what were some of the seeds that were planted in you to get into social work and to help people?
You know, I have no idea where marine biology came from. I think that I liked animals, and it may have been more from an empathetic uh characteristic that I was brought up with. I was always brought up to um just care and help, and I think that that kind of stuck with me throughout the years. And when I went to college, I still kind of was unsure of what route I wanted to go, but I knew I wanted to help and support people in the best way that I could, and to use my caring, empathetic personality to better society and people in general.
So what was kind of the timeline? How did you get into social work? How did it all steamroll to you being at home today doing it?
Yeah, so I went to school. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in social work. I'm licensed. I'm providing therapy, and the timeline all went very very predictable. So I went through both my bachelor and my master with the intention to move forward in the social work realm, and I worked with in a lot of medical settings and mental health therapy settings. And I from the hospital that I came back to home, working from home and coaching. So it kind of just was a pretty straightforward trajectory. I knew what I wanted, I went for it, and I got it.
Right on. So who's been a hero for you in your life?
Oh, My husband is my hero. He has been through a lot in the last couple of years, and his medical and mental health has struggled, and he has fought through that, and he is stronger every day for himself and our family. And watching him move through that, just it's pretty remarkable.
So you obviously have to be strong because of that. What's been your strength? What has kept you strong? What has been an outlet for you?
For me, it was taking care of myself. I think that that has always been, because of my empathetic, caring personality, I've always taken care of others. And actually, during COVID, when I started transitioning into coaching, I started taking care of myself. And that's when the big changes came. And that's where I got strong. And taking care of my own health and mental health needs is kind of put me where I am today.
So being in the realm of social work, one of the good offshoots of COVID was that it's not just that like depression and mental health issues aren't just kind of this stigmata where people are like, yeah, get over it. It's
Yeah,
kind of this compartmentalized thing. It's more of a mainstream thing now. And I'm sure that's probably helped with the way that you evaluate and go
yeah.
and deal with clients.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, part of my role has been working to end that stigma. I live in a small community, very rural, and I've done a lot of education in our community on decreasing that stigma and encouraging people, like, you don't have to be depressed where you don't leave the house to seek out help and support. You can just know that something is missing, or you can just recognize that your relationships aren't what you want it to be, and that's okay, and there's help and support out there for you, and you should never be ashamed of that.
So if you can meet anybody on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Ooh. Michelle Obama.
Okay.
I think she's just a strong, powerful woman, and I want to emulate that.
There would be a lot of people in the room. It's either Oprah or Michelle Obama. That's always number one and two.
Really,
Yeah.
really. I
So,
like Oprah too. That's a good one.
well, there you go. We could have a two for one for sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Obviously someone like Michelle Obama has a high level of motivation to do what they do. What is that for you? What gets you out of bed? What gets you to do the work that you want to do? How does that happen?
Yeah, I think it's just this inner strength that I've been working on the last couple of years. It's that, because I think that we are our biggest change factor, and no one else is going to motivate me or encourage me. It all has to come from within. And for me, that's just getting up every day, doing what I know makes me feel good so that I can put my best self out there.
So obviously you can't mention names, but if is there a client success story that always puts a smile on your face?
It does. Yes, even just thinking about it. I work with a nurse who is I've been working with her for almost 2 years, and she was getting ready to retire. She still is getting ready to retire, and she's preparing for what her life is going to look like after work is no longer there for her. And I think that that's really hard transition. Especially for a woman who, her identity is her work, and she's starting to think about what happens next. Who am I next? What do I do with myself? And so she's working on that kind of strength, the inner strength and confidence to continue to do the great things that she does into retirement.
So of all the things that you've done so far in your life, what are you the proudest of?
My husband and I are foster parents, and we have a little 4-year-old with us right now, and I am most proud of his progress. That puts a huge smile on my face and my heart. That's probably my biggest accomplishment, is keeping him safe for the last couple of months.
So if you have a dream tonight, you run into a much younger version of yourself, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained. What advice would you give your younger self?
Just be kind to yourself. I think that we grow up in a world where we're so hard on ourselves, and we always we generally put ourselves last, and to just stand with confidence and be kind to myself. I probably needed that advice when I was growing up.
So in the realm of social work and all of the things that you do with people, you get to see it in a very different light because this is your profession and you see it all the time. But what's one of the main things that people have an issue with that is relatively easy for you to see, but hard for them to figure out and take care of?
Yeah, I think, anxiety shows up in so many different ways for so many different folks. And, the overthinking and the lack of confidence that we have in the decisions that we make. And I think that that's so big. And, I just had a conversation with a client yesterday about how people with anxiety talk too much because they overthink what they're actually saying and what's coming out. And it's interesting to see because somebody doesn't know in the moment that that's what's happening, but I can see it on my end, that overthinking and, their wheels turning in their head.
So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, but you ultimately are in control. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think that I am strong. I think that I am successful and motivated and driven.
So, if anyone out there would like to get in touch with you, learn more about you, anything about your world, where can they go?
Kindfulnesscoaching.com.
Excellent. How do you pronounce, what's the right way to pronounce your last name?
Schweitzer.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't something that was kind of zigzagging around there. It was great to meet you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for taking a
Thank
minute out
you.
today. Best of luck with
Yeah.
everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Take care.